Is this the end of the correction finally on the stock market? And why is Bitcoin not moving? Why don't we have a volatility at all? Well, stay tuned for this weekly analysis and find out. Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Dan and as always I'm bringing you the best weekly analysis, stock market, crypto market and everything related to the financial markets. So follow me if you already aren't following, click that like button, subscribe, comment it down in the section below what you want to see me cover as well if you want some extra things besides from this deep weekly analysis. And let's head back into it right away. As you can see, I already have a NASDAQ chart open, which is the chart that we are always covering first. So what's happening on NASDAQ 100? As you can see, this is a weekly chart, okay? We have this green candle. Actually it ended up being green, but it was a red candle. It was quite bad. And we ended up this week in green, somewhere halfway where we started, okay? Now, as you can see, there's a big gap and this week was quite volatile. Why? Well, because we had Jackson Hole Symposium where you had all the biggest bankers, analysts. So you had a lot of Fed members speak there, including of course Jerome Powell, who was speaking on Friday. And what happened was we had a big spike and then we went all the way down and then we just ended up recovering at the end of the week after the Powell speech. Now the main question is, now what? So covering the technicals. First of all, as you can see, we are stopped by the EMA 20 on the weekly chart, okay? Now if we go even further on the daily chart, as you can see on a daily chart, what do we have here? Well, we have a almost a bearish cross, a death cross. That's a little bit too scary, but death cross or bearish cross is when this green line EMA 20 crosses EMA 50 to the downside. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out and show you how it looks like because it happened before. So this right over here is a death cross. Let me just mark it. You see this over here? This is a bear cross, death cross, whatever. Death cross, I don't like to call it. It's too scary, as I said. I mean, death cross. Seriously? Anyways, so bearish cross might happen on a daily chart, which is still a strong signal. All right. So might happen on a daily chart. Right over here, but might not happen. You know, we might just end up bouncing off of this area and then continue going higher. Now let me zoom in on 4-hour chart and let me click on show all the drawings that I have. Okay, now these are all the drawings that I have for you. I kind of reduced them. As you can see, there's not that many lines. Now let's just quickly go over it. So this is the important key market level that's been there since forever, right? 14,200. And this was my target. In my opinion, we should have ended our rally over here in the 14,200 area. However, we got stopped out in this gap area over here on the futures, NQ futures. So as you can see, we got stopped out in the gap area. Now, you can ignore these pivot levels. I'm just gonna delete them. That's something that I use for intraday trading. But now, what I see here, we have this order block right over here. Order block, pivot, support, resistance, supply, demand area. You can call it whatever you wanna call it. The important thing is, this is the area of liquidity. The money is sitting in this area, okay? The money is sitting everywhere in the chart, but specifically it is concentrated to a couple of different points. Like for example, in this gap over here, in this order block over here, because you can see this is the point where we reversed the most, okay? So what we did is we broke this order block and all these EMAs, went up to the upside, almost touched this previous key market level that we had, and then bounced down. We lost like after the Nvidia, because I told you guys when Nvidia has the earnings reports, AI hype might continue. Actually, it did not continue right away. What happened is everybody was waiting first what's gonna be said in the Jackson Hole Symposium, and if there's something very new and bearish, then the market reacts like this. And basically, after the Nvidia results, which were great, by the way, I was actually blown away, and I lost some money on the short because I was in the short on Nvidia. I got stopped out at 485. Anyways, so the results were good. Everything was looking great. Then the Fed started to talk. they were kind of neutral. In my personal opinion, they were bullish. You know why they were bullish in my opinion? Because they were not adamantly bearish. This is what I want to see from Fed at the moment in order to be consistent with their bearishness throughout the whole year. They were so adamantly bearish throughout the whole year, and now when it's the most important, now they're not bearish enough. Anyways, so what happened is they were kind of neutral, but the market just dumped for like 700 points. It was a crazy move. Let me just see exactly how much it dropped. It went down for 612 points. Guys, that actually a little bit more. I didn't take it from the top. But anyways, a lot of points, right? 600 points Nasdaq in one single day. Because of what? Because of good Nvidia report and because of kind of neutral Fed members speech. That was a pure manipulation at its finest. Luckily, I did not get caught out in this madness. No, I'm lying. Actually, I did get caught out somewhere over here in this level. I just lost the 2 entries, actually, 40 points each, which was 80 points in total. And luckily, I stopped for the day. So it could have been way worse. Like these kind of days are actually wiping accounts. And these kind of days are just killing people, wiping their entire accounts. All right. Now, I went too far. Let me cover the technicals analysis. So now, clear expectations from me. What do I want the price to do at the moment? As you can see, we're back in the order block. After the Chair Powell had his speech, we had this very big red wick, which went up, then it went down, then it went up. You know, like the market couldn't decide where it wants to go. The market didn't know how to interpret his speech as bullish or bearish. And eventually, we turned bullish, which is a good sign. Look at these wicks, guys. They are really good. And now I am turning bullish. Why? Simple reason. Nvidia report was very good. Okay. We are kind of sold out big time on all the big companies like Nasdaq, Apple, Amazon, Google. They're all like in big red, right? And we're kind of slowly recovering now. Now the next week will be crucial because we have some jobs data that I'm going to talk about later. And it's going to be very crucial. And if we break above, okay, consolidate and continue higher and retest this key market level right over here. Let me just get some nicer path, okay? So break, come back, retest, and then retest this key market level. If next week this price action happens, honestly, I really do believe we're going to break this key market level and continue the bullish momentum. So pay attention to next week. We need to break this small order block right over here. Break it, come back, retest it, and go all the way and come and retest this previous high and this key market level. And if we come and take it, that means that we're gonna turn bullish and most probably continue all the way to all-time highs. Now, if Nvidia had a really bad report, no doubt, we would be doing the opposite. I'm quite convinced that it would be something like boom, boom, let me just zoom out, and we would end up here at 14,200 as predicted the first time, okay? So I really do believe that if the Nvidia reports were really bad, we would end up here. Because they were not, that still gives me hope that we might turn back bullish, okay, and go to all-time highs. Now, will that happen? I don't know. So my plan for the next week will be this. I'm gonna be looking to break this order block and then retest the key market level. That's the first trade. The second trade, if we don't manage, if we have a false break and come back lower and retest these lows over here. So if we do something like this, come back to order block and don't have any strength, that's gonna be going back to the gap. I don't think we're gonna be retesting 14,200, but at least we're gonna be going back to the gap area, which is between 14,600 and 14,500. So those are the two scenarios. First scenario, look for the breakout of the order block, retest, and then higher on the key market level. Bearish scenario, breakout and then false break, come back all the way down, retest these lows, consolidate, come back to the gap. That's it for Nasdaq. I hope I didn't suffocate you too much. Now, Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitcoin. I'm gonna be going faster a little bit from now on. I don't want to have this video 30 minutes long. So Bitcoin, nothing is happening on Bitcoin. No volatility, it's dead. We had this big move to the downside, but we're still holding. Let me just show you on a daily chart. okay? Daily chart and then short drawings. What did I tell you? Everything remains the same. While we are holding 25k, we're still bullish. If we don't hold the 25k, we're gonna turn bearish. As simple as that. This price action over here looks very weak to me. However, this might be a consolidation and accumulation for something bigger. We might see a final liquidity grab to somewhere, let's say 24k, just to propel us back with some good news. We need some really good news, okay, to do this move, to propel us back to 32k plus, right? If we don't do that, then it's just gonna be a typical break to the downside. So break, retest, boom, we're gonna end up somewhere in the 20,000 range. So somewhere in this area is going to be our target. So Bitcoin, nothing is happening now. As long as we stay here above 25k, I will be buying and I will be on the buyer side. When we break it and we don't explode to the upside right away. So what I want to see, if we break this level of 25k, I want to see explosion back, like a V-shaped recovery, like what had happened here, right? We had the downside and then, or here even better. Like you had the downside, boom, explosion. This is what I would want to see if we break the 25k. If we don't do it, if it happens to be something like this and then just a weak consolidation, I'm gonna be shorting. I'm turning short and I'm gonna be shorting it all the way back to 20,000 because that means there's no money, there's no new buyers. Okay, now let's move on. Oops, let me just drag this over here. Now we're gonna move on to economic calendar for next week. What does the economic calendar brings us? Monday, nothing. So Monday is going to be probably a recovery day. Monday, when there's no big news, usually it's a recovery day, just to quickly show you on NASDAQ. So Monday, most probably we're gonna break this order block as I just told you, and then retest it, and then we're gonna see where we're gonna go Tuesday or whatever. So Monday, when there's no news, consider it as a recovery day. Tuesday, all right, CB consumer confidence, very important, and then JOLTS job openings. So this week will be jobs data oriented. We're gonna have a lot of jobs data and you have to pay attention to it. JOLTS job opening. Now on Wednesday we have ADP non-farm employment. Then we have GDP. This is the second release for quarter number 2, okay? And then we have pending home sales, crude oil inventories, which we don't really don't care about. So GDP, ADP, non-farm payroll is very, very important on Wednesday. Then on Thursday we have core PCE, okay, and PCE price index. Then we have initial jobless claims. As always, pay attention to PCE price index. That's gonna be very important. And then on Friday, of course, we have average hourly earnings and unemployment rate and non-farm payrolls, as well as ISM manufacturing PMI. So a lot of jobs data, a lot of economy data, okay? You need to pay attention to all of them. This will affect as well the price action. So the only bad thing at the moment with jobs data is earlier it was very easy to know how to trade jobs data, okay? Meaning you would know that if jobs data is better, that means that the Fed will keep tightening and the stocks should be going down. Okay, this was the logic. Now, if the jobs data is worse, Fed will then finally start to, pivot. We will have easing coming, quantitative easing. So this was the kind of logic, and then the stocks would be doing good. Stocks would be going up. But what's happening now is you can read this data in both ways, good and bad. So I have no idea how the market is going to take it. Because sometimes when we have good data, market goes up, and then sometimes we have good data, market goes down. Like, it doesn't make sense anymore. I don't know what they're looking at. I don't know what the market makers want to see from jobs data. Clearly, Fed wants to see job data getting worse. They've been saying that all the time. They want to see higher unemployment. They want to see people losing their jobs. And that will be the first indicator for them to start the quantitative easing process, to reduce the interest rates, okay, to cut the interest rates or to pivot. Now, how the market will digest it, I have no idea, and that's why I'm going to be looking and following the market. Okay, let's move on to earnings calendar. Earnings season is almost over, so earnings calendar I'm not going to be going over. everything, all the important companies have passed. So Monday nothing, Tuesday PDD, whatever, crowd strike, Thursday Broadcom, like nothing too crazy. Friday, so earnings calendar, you can just consider that earnings reports are basically almost done for us who are trading Nasdaq, and also for the guys who are trading S&P. It's almost done, right? Now let's move on to some news. Fed's Powell, higher rates may be needed, will move carefully. So guys, Jackson Hole, the Federal Reserve may need to raise interest rates further to cool still too high inflation, said Fed Jerome Powell on Friday. Basically, what I want to read for you is this line. While not as hawkish a message as he delivered this time a year ago at the annual Jackson Hole Economic Policy Symposium, Powell's remarks still delivered a punch, with investors now seeing one more rate hike by year-end more likely than not. Now, this tells you everything. He was very bearish last year, okay? And he was very adamantly bearish, and this is what I tell you, they're not consistent. And now he is delivering a bearish message, but not actually so bearish. So, they're not keeping consistent, and that's why the market doesn't believe them. Whatever he says, and that's why I told you we have a possibility to go back to all-time high, because the market doesn't believe them anything. They don't believe them they're gonna increase one more rate hike. They don't believe them they're gonna hold the interest rates for too long. They don't believe any of that, because the next year is the election year. Election year is usually very good for the stocks and equities, so everybody's already prepared for the big bull market next year. They don't believe in any of the stuff that Jerome Powell says, and that's very bad because people lost the trust in Fed completely. So they were kind of bearish, but that immediately, because they're not adamantly bearish, means that we're bullish, if that makes sense, okay? Now, let's move on to some crypto news. Rogue Pepe Coin team members blamed for 16 million Pepe multi-sig withdrawal, okay? In an announcement to the Pepe community, it was claimed that 3 former members stole funds from the projects and then handed over full control. Guys, that's why you don't invest in meme coins. That's why you don't chase the hype. Yes, you can invest if you want to gamble with $100 or whatever, and if you become a millionaire like some people did on Doge, on Shiba, on Pepe, whatever, that's great, but take your money and run. Take your money and run. Be happy. You did something that nobody achieved ever. It's 1 in a trillion possibility that you make this kind of money, okay, with these coins. Now everybody else, who were late to the party were actually exit liquidity for these guys. So somebody allegedly hacked them, stole whatever, coins, and stole the money from the funds from the project. And look at this, the next news. Insider trading claims surface amid token theft. Now, guys, okay, this makes absolutely sense. Roach Pepe Coin team members blamed for 16 million Pepe multi-sig withdrawal. Insider trading claims surface amid token theft. Of course they did it in organization with one another. Of course it was orchestrated. Of course it is orchestrated. I didn't even need to read the article to know that it's been orchestrated, because there have been so many times in crypto where these scams actually happen. That, you create a project does good, but over promises, gives so many promises, and then you can't deliver these promises. What you do? Oh, guys, we've been hacked, sorry. FTX, MT Gox, blah blah blah, all these companies, right, who Hex or whatever, all these projects who overpromise things, and they realize, oh shit, we can't actually deliver this, we can't do this, right? And then how they will get the money out, safe way, oh, we've been hacked. So basically this is what's happening in crypto. Nothing good, no good news happening, nothing great. We're just consolidating in a manner to the downside slowly. We need something really good to push us higher. If that doesn't happen, we're gonna continue going lower. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next week. Peace.